you have what it takes to be the next future star of wrestling? The #1 training facility in the Southwest is enrolling new students for a career in professional wrestling.
Do you have what it takes to be the next future star of wrestling? Come see us today.
Our all-star staff includes WWE legend D'Lo Brown, TJ Perkins, Kenny King, and Sin Bodhi. Training for all ages, including our weekly kids class. For more info, visit fswvegas.com.
Expect a lot of things out of this matchup. Shane Strickland, tremendous high flyer, but so is Brian Cage. Shane Strickland has a very innovative and unique offense, but so does Brian Cage. And Brian Cage is definitely going to have the power advantage. I'm kind of going to wonder what strategy Shane Strickland's going to use to try and put away Brian Cage tonight.
And right now it looks like Shane Strickland's not even moving very much.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to move Brian Cage. That's not the most sound strategy by the Swerve. But it's hard to kind of second guess Shane Strickland considering all the success he's had. There's Brian Cage. Shane Strickland trying to maneuver out of it, trying to manipulate his way out of it. He gains the advantage, or so it looks to us at least, but can he? And he finally brings Cage over. Shane Strickland using his agility to his advantage. But even a drop kick from Shane Strickland doesn't bring down Cage.
And look at the agility.
The quickness of both these athletes. The drop kick from Strickland doesn't bring down Cage. The drop kick from Cage rattles Strickland and brings him down.
And a huge chop from Brian Cage.
So much power behind it.
I think I saw tears welling in the eyes of Shane Strickland on that. And look at this with Brian Cage with the clothesline.
And he's not letting up. Strickland's trapped in the corner. Oh man, a chest first. Into the turnbuckle. Goes Shane Strickland.
And right now, Brian Cage just using his power to take control of this matchup early on here at the Mecca 4.
The scary part about Brian Cage, besides everything, is I don't even know if he realizes the full potential of his own strength. Shane Strickland doing what he had to do, desperately moving out of the way. And Cage hits his big shoulder on the turn post. Strickland lands on his feet. And that might have been worse than going to the outside.
Look at this, we've seen it before. And the power of Brian Cage.
You cannot escape Brian Cage's power. Oh, look at that though, Strickland fought out of it.
And smart move is Shane Strickland.
Oh, snap German suplex. And that's what he has to do. He has to keep Cage grounded.
1, 2. Before the count of 2, he kicks out.
And it looks like that dragon screw on the rope. It's very effective on Cage, and Shane Strickland has found the body part to take out. Shane Strickland's gonna have to try to dissect Brian Cage's knee. It's a little early for Shane Strickland to get arrogant though.
You know, a lot of rumors running rampant about Shane Strickland maybe leaving the independent world and maybe signing over with WWE.
I don't think you should speculate.
I'm just saying that's what the hot rumor is. We were trying to be informative.
Okay, any company should be going after Shane Strickland and getting him under a contract. Shane Strickland trying to lock in that STF now. He's got Brian Cage dead center in the ring. Cage is either going to have to try and drag his body while carrying Strickland's weight. Oh, or not. He's strong enough to break the hold just by getting to his knees.
And look at that. It's Brian Cage.
Oh, and Strickland goes right back on the attack.
Cage thought he did enough to ground Strickland for a second, but that was about it.
Talk about the crazy schedule both these athletes have been on. Wrestling has brought them all over the world. You got to wonder if jet lag is going to play a part.
Well, Brian Cage just about 6 days ago was in Australia. Wednesday he was in California. Friday he was in Chicago. Saturday he was in Puerto Rico. And then had to take a red eye to get here for Sunday.
And that takes a toll on you physically.
And maybe that's why he's off to a slow start.
And factor in just the damage that wrestling does to your body on top of all that travel. And the fact that Shane Strickland has kicked you in the back of the knee.
And he did what he needed to do, and it's keeping Brian Cage on his back.
Strickland just twisting the knee and ankle of Brian Cage. And it takes a lot of strength on Strickland's part to control something that big. Brian Cage's leg, one leg is more powerful than most people.
Oh, look at this, Shane Strickland, he is just wrenching it in.
There was a point in time in Strickland's career where he didn't quite have this mean streak. But ever since he's developed it, it's paid off for him. Oh, Strickland, though, lands on his feet, catches Brian Cage.
Right in the face.
Who rolls to the outside where he can't be pinned. But when you're dealing with someone like Shane Strickland, that's not exactly a safe haven. Strickland just measuring Brian Cage now. He's going to look to take a little bit of a risk. Cage saw him coming, but he saw that too. Oh no. And he posts Strickland on the powerbomb. Back first into the steel goes Shane Strickland. And Brian Cage has bought himself a little bit of time to recover.
And Cage trying to get the support of the fans going. As you could just see, he's still having some problems with his leg as Strickland wore him down earlier in the match.
Yeah, those problems are going to persist for this entire contest. But the question is, can the machine fight through the pain? And then he hips off Strickland right into a backbreaker. Brian Cage is fighting through this match on one knee. And Strickland knows that. He's going to have to try to take advantage of it. Rolling in. Usually does a diamond cutter out, but look at the power of Cage and into the jackhammer.
1, 2.
And mind you, Brian Cage did that with one good leg.
And we have talked about it for many years here in FSW, the power behind Brian Cage, but also the flexibility of a cruiserweight.
Brian Cage is a one-of-a-kind athlete. And I think Shane Strickland realizes that. What's this called? I was trying to get your shit in drop, but Strickland reverses it.
Oh, look at that knee right to the jaw. Swing and a miss, and once again, look at Strickland.
And that time, Strickland rolls in with the cutter.
1, 2. And it is not enough to put away the machine. Brian Cage looking to bounce back, even though he didn't lose technically in the Mecca Grand Championship match. He was not pinned.
Well, he didn't walk out with the title.
That is correct.
He didn't walk out with the championship on that night.
You know, he's looking forward to possibly taking on the winner of the Teddy Hart, John Morrison, Johnny Mecca match tonight.
Well, he's got to get past Shane Strickland. Shane Strickland is the type of athlete that if you get a victory over him, all eyes are going to be on you. Sizing up Cage with another kick.
I'll tell you what, this is a much more physical Shane Strickland tonight.
Hey, Shane Strickland's looking to rebound after his loss in the first round of the Mecca Grand Championship to Johnny Mecca. And the fans have picked a side, and they have picked Brian Cage.
And Shane Strickland firing those big kicks to the chest.
And delivers another hard shot to the chest. Shane Strickland has dictated the pace in this matchup. He's making every offensive maneuver he does, he's making it have a purpose. Oh my! He drop kicked the knee of Brian Cage. Full head of steam. Dropped him right on the back of his head.
And right now, Shane Strickland in command, looking to finish off Brian Cage.
He's putting together those offense moves, but does he have the power to do this? And he does! And a big suplex out of Strickland.
1, 2.
And Cage kicks out. Strickland needs this victory. Brian Cage needs it also. Who's gonna do whatever it takes to win? Who's gonna bust out their heavy artillery, their big offensive weapons to try and put away the other man?
And look at this, Shane Strickland once again just firing some elbows right to the back of the head of Brian Cage, wearing him down tonight.
Strickland's
strategy has been very interesting.
Strickland cannot match power with Brian Cage.
You know, I figured Strickland would be flying around all over the place using his speed and quickness, and that's just not what has happened.
But Strickland able to reverse the momentum and almost gets Cage. Discus lariat! And a Brian Cage and Shane Strickland roll into an area he can't be pinned, creating the separation, getting out of harm's way, at least in his mind. And we saw Cage go for this earlier, trying to muscle up Shane Strickland to bring him back in the ring. And this time he gets it. And he drops the swerve.
1, 2. It was close, but not enough. Brian Cage not able to put away Shane Strickland just yet.
And I wonder what that took out of Cage's knee. You see, he's still favoring it. Almost a frustrated Brian Cage, judging from his expression.
And he has got him up.
Like he's going for that. Oh no! A unique counter out of the swerve. And Brian Cage is in a terrible spot for him, but perfect position for the swerve stomp for Shane Strickland. Oh no! He rocked him.
1, 2, 3, no!
Shane Strickland busted out that swerve stomp, and it wasn't enough to put away Brian Cage. Brian Cage is not a normal opponent. Shane Strickland knew that going in, but now he's definitely a believer that it's going to take a little something extra to put away Brian Cage.
And Shane Strickland rolling down the knee pad to expose the knee.
He wants that bone on bone for what he has planned. No, knee pad might have done it. Oh no, that just woke up Brian Cage.
And Brian Cage is fired up. Shane Strickland with a look of disbelief.
Strickland thought that would be the kill shot, and he was wrong. All that did was wake up Brian Cage, who's having a powerbomb party.
And it is just not enough. Brian Cage thought he had him.
And now Brian Cage is going to either have to formulate a new plan to try and put away Strickland in his mind, or he's going to have to go strictly off instinct.
And Cage has got him up.
He didn't have the gory special fully locked in, and Strickland was able to counter it. And he kicks his knee out from under him. Oh no! Steiner screwdriver.
1, 2, 3, and there it is.
And it was the drill claw from Brian Cage to put away Shane Strickland, fighting through the pain of the damaged knee to defeat the Swerve.